I was standing in the middle of Home Depot, comparing 2x4s, when my brother texted me a photo of him holding a margarita in one hand and flashing a peace sign with the other. Behind him, ocean, palm trees, and a resort pool. The caption, Cabo life, baby. My name's Brett Mathers. I'm 42, divorced, no kids, and I run a small construction business out of Denver. A few months ago, my dad went in for a surprise bypass surgery. Medicare hadn't kicked in yet, and my parents were scrambling. My mom called me in tears, said they just needed a little help. Short-term float, she called it. So I opened a new low-limit credit card, $500 cap, just enough to cover some of the hospital bills without sinking my business. Separate from everything else. Controlled. When I got Cody's photo, I figured maybe he finally saved up for something. Good for him, honestly. He's 35, works random IT gigs, lives rent-free with our parents. I figured maybe he booked a cheap flight, found a deal. I texted him back. Nice. Who paid? His reply made my jaw tighten. Your card's been great. Appreciate it, bro. Don't worry, I only spent about $90K. I laughed out loud in the aisle, thought he was joking. Texted, funny, my card's got a $500 limit, jackass. Then I called him, straight to voicemail. A minute later, Mom calls me. I don't even say hello, I just ask, what the hell is he talking about? She goes quiet. Then she says, I thought it was mine. I swear her voice dropped like she knew. She pulls a gold credit card from her purse. I froze. That card, I'd lost it a few weeks back. Thought it slipped behind a toolbox or into the junk drawer. But this wasn't the $500 personal backup. This was the business card. Turns out she'd kept a spare copy from when I first set up the account. One I'd forgotten even existed. Ellis Builds, LLC, the one I use for bulk lumber, contractor payments, diesel fuel, max limit, $100,000. And now my idiot brother was sipping top-shelf tequila in Mexico like he won the damn lottery with a company card that had my name, my business, and my liability tied to it. Quick note, before we start, how's your day going and where are you joining from? I didn't say a word, just stared at that card in my mom's hand. She looked nervous, like maybe this was the first time she realized it was serious. And all I could think was, how many charges, how much debt, and how the hell was I going to explain this to my accountant? I grabbed my keys and walked out the door. I drove straight home, didn't even bother stopping for dinner. Walked into the kitchen, tossed my keys on the counter, and opened my laptop. Logged into the Ellis Builds business account. $17,803.47. That was the amount currently posted, at least what had cleared so far. Some charges were still pending, so I knew the final total might climb once they cleared. All of it sitting under a charge list that read like some influencer's vacation log. Los Cabos Grand Resort, Blue Marlin Beach Club, Baja excursions, round-trip flights with first-class upgrades. One transaction was for a damn yacht rental. I clicked into the activity report and opened the IP log. Every charge was traced to the Wi-Fi at the same beachfront Airbnb, Cale Olas Altas, Cabo San Lucas. Then I opened Instagram, searched his profile. There he was, my dumbass brother, posing poolside, shirtless, toasting cocktails with two women I'd never seen in my life. Every post tagged with some tourist trap bar or beach. One of them had the caption, "Thankful to the man upstairs for this kind of blessing." I nearly threw the laptop. He wasn't thanking God, he was thanking me. He just didn't realize it. But what he really didn't realize, that card wasn't mine. Not personally, anyway. It didn't belong to Brett Mathers, the brother. It belonged to Ellis Builds, LLC. And what Cody just did wasn't a family spat. It was business fraud. Full stop. I shut the card down, froze it, reported it stolen, and called the bank. Still, a few pending charges slid through before the freeze fully processed. Then, I rang my attorney. Gina Ruiz answered on the second ring. No small talk, just straight to it. What's going on? He ran up $17,000 on the business card. Cody? Yeah. She was quiet for a beat. Then, civil or criminal? I didn't even hesitate. Both. Send me everything, she said. Receipts, card statement, Instagram screenshots, login records, everything. I spent the next 4 hours compiling every single thing I could find. Pulled screenshots of the posts, the tags, the timestamps, the card activity logs, email alerts, bank notices, even the texts from earlier. The insurance rep called me back the next day. Because this is a business account and the fraud total is over 50 grand across all pending and processed charges, you're covered. I hadn't realized more were still coming in. I thought the damage was under 20. The bank had already sent the full report to our insurer overnight. Then he walked me through the running balance. Some of those charges had been pending when I froze the card. The bank tallied them once they cleared. Turns out Cody had opened a second resort tab, tipped a bartender $500, and used the card for flights for 3 other people, not including the Rolex boutique charge that didn't go through, blocked by fraud detection, thank God. Total attempted amount? Over 73 grand. The bank locked it all. Fraud claim initiated, and that's when I did something I never thought I'd do. I texted Cody, "Hope the tequila was worth it. The fraud unit will be in touch." He replied 10 minutes later, a laughing emoji. Then, "Relax, we're family." I stared at that message like it was written in fire. That was it. That was the moment I stopped seeing him as my brother, because he didn't think he'd done anything wrong. He thought family was a get-out-of-jail-free card, that I'd just eat the loss, laugh it off, cover for him. Not this time. I screenshot the whole conversation and emailed it to Gina. She replied 2 minutes later. "Perfect. That's your motive." Then she followed up with one more text. "Let's bury him in paperwork." The next morning, my phone rang before I'd even had my first coffee. Mom's number. I almost didn't pick up, but did anyway. Her voice was steady, clearer than it had been in weeks. "Brett, you need to let this go." I stared at the screen, felt my grip tighten. "He stole from the company, Mom." "It's just a credit card. He didn't hurt anybody." I pressed my palm into the counter, knuckles white. "He used my company's name. That is hurting someone. That's hurting me." "You always make such a big deal out of things," she snapped. "No," I said, my voice low but sharp. "I'm making a record of things. He was under pressure. He thought you'd say no." "I did say no, and he did it anyway." There was a pause. Then she delivered the line that made my jaw lock. "If you take this to court, don't expect the family to stand by you." For a second, all I could hear was my own heartbeat. I didn't yell, I didn't argue. I just hung up, walked to my desk, and opened the folder on my desktop, the one I'd been keeping for years. Inside was everything. Old texts, Venmo receipts, unpaid rent transfers, notes from bail money, even screenshots from college when he borrowed my car and left it in a parking lot with an empty tank. All of it labeled, dated, stacked like a case file. I dragged the entire folder into a new zip file called Cody Pattern and sent it to Gina. The phone buzzed less than 2 minutes later. "Holy hell," she said. "This is a pattern of financial dependency and abuse." "Yeah," I muttered. "Welcome to my life." "Not anymore," she replied. "With this, it's not a one-off mistake. It's a repeated pattern. This changes everything." I sat back in my chair, staring at the wall of my office. Old construction photos, my first business license framed in the cheap oak. The paper looked tired, like me. Gina's voice cut back in. "I'm amending the suit. Fraud, intent, and now historical financial abuse. This puts him in a different category." "Do it," I said. She didn't hesitate. "Already on it." I ended the call and looked around the room. Papers stacked in neat piles, invoices ready for the week's work. I'd built this place nail by nail, job by job, and my own brother had thought it was his slush fund. The phone buzzed again, this time a text from Mom. "Please stop this before it gets ugly." I stared at it, then set the phone face down. Opened my email instead and scanned the outgoing files to make sure Gina had everything. She did. The cursor blinked at me from the empty reply box to Mom. I didn't type a thing. Instead, I walked over to the cabinet, grabbed the rest of my old paperwork, bank letters, contractor checks I'd fronted for Cody's startup that never existed, and started scanning them one by one. If they wanted to call me the villain, fine, but they weren't going to call me unprepared. I fed the last page through the scanner, saved it, and hit send. I posted one sentence on the Ellis Builds Facebook page. Sometimes peace means holding people accountable. No names, no details, just truth. That night, someone egged my truck. It wasn't just some teenager prank either. They nailed the windshield dead center, cracked it halfway across, dried yolk dripping down the paint, baking under the porch light. I didn't even flinch. Just took the photos, filed the insurance claim, and drove my backup truck to the site in the morning. Next day, I bought a full camera setup. Motion sensors, cloud storage, night vision, the works. Took me 3 hours to wire it around the house and shop. 2 nights later, it paid off. Motion alert hit my phone around 2:30 a.m. I pulled the footage and watched a skinny teenager in a hoodie chuck a brick at my garage door. Missed, ran off. But the camera caught everything. Face, shoes, car, license plate. I called it in, cops ran the plates, turned out it was the neighbor's kid. 2 doors down. His dad? Worked at a drywall supplier. Cody freelanced for a few times last year. I didn't press charges, just burned the footage to a thumb drive and mailed it to Gina. When she called me back, her voice was practically cheerful. "They're panicking," she said. Once the insurance company confirmed the fraud claim, Gina filed the official paperwork. Business fraud, intent to impersonate, theft over $50,000. She sent the documents out that morning. She said Cody would get them by Friday. He showed up Thursday. Didn't call, didn't knock, just walked straight into my shop while I was going over time cards with my foreman. Stood there like he owned the damn place. "You took this too far," he said. I waved the foreman off and stood up. "No, you charge this too far." He stepped closer, arms crossed. "You're seriously going to ruin your own brother over some charges?" "Some," I snapped. "You stole company money and used my name to do it." "It was a mistake. You bought bottle service, Cody." He scoffed, like I was the one being dramatic. "You always thought you were better than me." I didn't blink. Just reached into my desk drawer, pulled out a manila envelope, and handed it to him. "Subpoena, you've got 10 days. He took it, but didn't look inside. "You're cold." I sat back down and opened my laptop. "And you're a liar." He stood there a second longer, like he wanted to say more, but nothing came out. He left without another word. I waited until I heard the door click shut, then opened my work schedule and got back to the payroll corrections. 15 minutes later, my phone buzzed. Text from Gina. "He got served. Game on." After that morning at the shop, nothing. No calls, no texts. No surprise visits, just silence. And for the first time in a while, I didn't mind it. Then Mom started up again. "You're ruining the family. You didn't have to go this far. Cody's your brother." I didn't respond, not once. She sent 5 messages in 3 days. I left everyone on read. A week later, I got an email from Cody. Subject line, "Let's talk." "Please, Brett, I didn't mean to hurt you. I was stressed. I'll pay you back." I read it twice. The same guy who told me to relax now wanted sympathy. Annie still didn't get it. I hit reply. "It's not my debt anymore. Pay the insurance company." Sent. No second draft. No sugarcoating. 2 hours later, another email popped up. This time from Mom. Long paragraph, no punctuation. What kind of son destroys his brother over a misunderstanding? I almost laughed. Misunderstanding? Cody planned a week in Cabo and picked the card that wasn't his. That's not confusion. That's theft. The next day, Gina called. "Fraud claims approved. Business is clean. But insurance is going after him. He's not off the hook." I leaned back in my chair and looked around the office. For the first time in weeks, the air felt still. Clean. 2 days after that, one of my guys at the job site held up his phone during lunch. "Yo, Brett, this you?" The headline read, "Man faces lawsuit after charging brother's business card for Cabo." Trip below it, a blurry photo of Cody laughing on the beach, pulled right from his Instagram. I didn't say much, just nodded and got back to work. Let people talk. That wasn't my problem anymore. Later that night, I scrolled the comments section. A few trolls, some jokes. One guy wrote, "Snitches get stitches." Another said, "Good. Family doesn't mean free ride." I didn't engage, just closed the browser. The hearing was short. No drama, no outbursts. Just a cold room with bad lighting and cheap carpet that smelled like stale coffee. Cody walked in 10 minutes before it started, wearing a wrinkled button-down and scuffed dress shoes. No smirk, no swagger. Just eyes locked on the floor like he was trying to disappear through it. He didn't look at me. Didn't look at Gina either. The judge asked for the basics. Gina handled it like she always did. Cool, sharp, no wasted words. She laid it all out. Dates, charges, the IP logs from the resort Wi-Fi, screenshots of Cody's posts, the fraud alerts from the bank, and the official approval from the insurance company confirming we were covered, but pursuing restitution. Cody's court-appointed attorney didn't argue much, just asked a few limp questions about intent and stress. Gina shut that down fast. Then the judge looked at me. "Mr. Mathers, would you like to make a statement?" I stood. "I'm not here for revenge," I said. My voice echoed more than I expected. "This is about clearing my name, my company, my life." I looked right at the judge, but I could feel Cody shift behind me. I built Ellis Builds from nothing. I worked the job sites. I wrote the checks. I took the losses when we couldn't land contracts. I paid every vendor, every crew. I paused. Not for effect, just to keep my voice steady. And then one day, I get a message that nearly 70 grand went missing. Not because of a hacker, not a scam. My own brother took it, used my business card for a vacation. Jet skis, booze, flights, hotel rooms. I turned slightly, met Cody's eyes. "He didn't just steal money," I said. "He stole trust, from me, from my employees, from my clients. This isn't about being hurt. This is about being done." The judge nodded. "Thank you." He looked through the file, flipped a few pages, and gave the ruling straight. The court sided with the insurance company. Cody was ordered to pay full restitution. His bank accounts were flagged for financial monitoring. He was legally restricted from accessing business credit or representing himself as affiliated with any LLC. Immediate effect. That was it. Bang of the gavel. Done. Outside the courthouse, Cody followed me down the steps. He stayed a few feet behind like he was building up the nerve. Then I heard him mumble, "Are you happy now?" I turned to face him. "No, I'm not happy," I said. "I'm free." He scoffed. "You think this makes you better than us?" I held his stare. "No, it just means I'm done cleaning up after you." His face twitched like he wanted to argue, but he didn't. He shoved his hands in his pockets, nodded once, and turned away. I watched him walk to his car, some old Nissan he probably borrowed from Mom. The passenger window was duct-taped. The bumper was cracked. He didn't look back. Gina caught up with me near the parking lot. "You okay?" she asked. "Yeah." "You did the right thing, Brett." "I know." We didn't hug, didn't need to. She handed me the final folder of documents, and I stuck them under my arm. Just black and white paperwork, but it felt like fresh air. I got in my truck, closed the door, and sat there for a second with both hands on the wheel. Not mad, not sad, just done. That night, I sat at my desk and opened every file. Fraud reports, bank letters, emails, Gina's case summaries, all of it. I selected every document, clicked Archive, and labeled the folder Closed. Then I opened a new one, named it Rules. Inside, I typed out a checklist. New cards, issued, old logins, deactivated, new vendor policies, no verbal authorizations, no shared accounts, ever again. Next, I opened my contacts, blocked Cody's number. Then I found Mom's, stared at it for a second, and deleted it. Not out of spite. I just needed peace. And that meant boundaries, even if they came with silence. A few weeks later, I was driving back from a site visit and passed that little tool store downtown. The kind with the old neon sign and rows of stuff I always wanted but never talked myself into buying. I parked, walked in, spotted a brand new set of precision drills in a polished wood case. Clean edges, balanced weight, American-made, didn't hesitate. Paid for it with the new Ellis Builds business card, the one with a reduced limit, dual auth login, and my name, only my name, printed clean across the front. The receipt came out. I folded it, tucked it in the case, and walked out without a second thought. No debt, no drama, no cleanup. Just a man buying his own damn tools. That night, I brought the case into the garage, opened it slow, ran my hand across the fresh metal, lined each bit up on the bench, wiped them clean, and set them in order. Then I stood back, hands on hips, listening to the silence. No buzzing phone, no guilt-tripped calls, no emergencies disguised as favors. Just space, just tools, just mine. Because forgiveness doesn't mean reunion. It doesn't mean smiling at people who spit in your face and calling it love. Sometimes forgiveness means locking the door, shutting the noise out, and finally understanding you don't owe anyone access to your life just because you share a last name. And for once, I didn't second guess it. I flipped off the garage light, walked into the house and went to bed without checking my phone.